All right, it's going to be a random video, just thinking about this. And this is something that I think I would say nobody really knows this. Because no one really thinks about this. I mean, why would you, right? But it's just really interesting to understand how things work when it comes with the week, right? So you're probably wondering like why we even call it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Have you ever thought of that? If you just, type in days of the week on Google, it's going to show you like Wikipedia right here. Derived from the names of the 7 heavenly bodies, which is the Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, right? But here's the interesting part, is that you're probably wondering, how are these named? If this one right here kind of makes sense, right? Sun and Moon and Saturn as well. Saturn, like Saturn Day, Sunday, Moon Day, right? Tuesday, you're like, that doesn't equal Mars. But ironically, I was thinking about this the other day. In Spanish, in other words, Latin, it's called martes. And in Mercury, in Spanish, it's called miércoles. Get it? It sounds like Mercury, but it's actually, the real word is miércoles. That's why in Spanish it's miércoles. So here's the thing. These names, right? Even in other languages, they actually all coexist, and there's a reason for it. Like, for example, sol, luna, etc. Lunes, like in Spanish. Luna, this is what the moon is in Spanish. This is what it means. You get it? So here's the interesting part. What a lot of people don't know is that each hour, this is ancient knowledge. Each hour of the day is ruled by a planet, is what they thought back in the day. They thought that the first hour of the day was ruled by a planet, and that planet was Saturn. That's why you see a lot of Saturn imagery in movies, TV shows, etc. You'll see it everywhere. After you see it, you cannot unsee it. You'll see it everywhere. Saturn actually looks like an eye as well. Saturn is so deep. Saturn basically is absolutely everything. For example, even Saturnalia is supposedly connected to Christmas, which a lot of people say it's not. If you Google that, they probably wouldn't say it is, but it kind of is. That's why it's Saturn, Satan, etc. There is a lot of words in the English language that is based off Latin and also Hebrew, etc. It goes way back. But here's where it gets really interesting. When you look at that, for example, Saturn, right? Saturn was the first hour of the day. There's 24 hours in the day. So let's just do that. Let's just do the math, right? Let's say it's 24 hours in the day, right? You're probably thinking, yeah, but there's 7. 7 times 3 is what? It's 21, right? So the next 3, so there's 3 hours left in this order. So for example, the order goes Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. So it goes Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, and then the moon, right? Those are the 7 in order per hour. So hour 1 would be Saturn. Hour 2 is Jupiter. Hour 3 is Mars. So 3 a.m. That's how it goes. Midnight starts at Saturn. Jupiter starts at 1 a.m. Mars, 2 a.m. You get it? So it goes, you just keep going. And if you do the math, it adds up perfectly, which is how they used to basically, track time, was based off the hours and the lights in the sky. In other words, the heavenly bodies and they call it the wanderers. Okay? This is before where you can actually see the sky. This is all hidden knowledge now. But the thing is, you're still wondering where does 3 hours, how it ends up to be from Saturn go to Sunday. If Sunday is the 4th hour, right? How does it go then? So let's just do the math, right? So you go and you start from Saturn, then you go to Jupiter, that's the 1 a.m., and then you go to Mars, 2 a.m., and you go to Sun, 3 a.m. So that's 3 hours, right? So if that's the case, then that means the next day, the next hour, so for example, it'll be 24 hours in the day, so the sun will now rule the next day. Do you get it? So that's what they call a Sunday. So if we use that same order again, the order goes Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, like this. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. Now, this is how it goes. When you do it again, and you go from the Sun, this is where it'll be Sunday, and you go and you just put 3, 1, 2, 3. Moon day is the next day, Monday. You do it again. 3, 1, 2, 3. Tuesday, martes. You get it? Martes, right? Mars. Can't freaking show you. Anyways, Mars. Then you go 3 again, Mars. 1, 2, 3, Mercury. Miércoles, which is Spanish. Like Latin, which is miércoles. And you're probably getting confused, but it's miércoles. Is Wednesday, see? Miércoles in Spanish. But they used to call it something else. It's called a miércoles. Now here's the thing. This is why everything in life has to do with Fibonacci, infinity, numbers, etc. Like the galaxy right here, the spiral, infinity, Saturn. This is where it gets extremely, extremely deep. When you look at a seashell like this, it looks like a seashell, right? Spiral. Because it never stops. The hours keep rolling based off the heavenly bodies, which is the planets. You see that? It can't get more perfect than that. This is kind of basically hidden knowledge that nobody pretty much knows anymore. And I'm pretty sure if you show this video to anybody, they're probably going to get confused. It's all right. I can make a different video and explain it better, because obviously it's kind of scrambled. Probably like scrambled eggs right there. But the point is that when you look at the words, all words, every single word that is a word, is crafted. In other words, crafted by God. That's what they call the word of God. Anyways, point is, you could keep going. You could do this. If you have this order, you could do that every single time. So like I said, this is the first hour of the day, which means the beginning of the world. In other words, the beginning of the world, the beginning of light, the beginning of how it starts, how everything started on Saturn. Saturn day, the sixth planet. They say the number of the beast is 666. Ironically, we're going to go a little randomly deeper, but the first Mac was 666.66. That was the first Mac ever sold. Why was it sold for 66666? Because this is the number of the beast, which is the apple, with a forbidden fruit, which was bitten in the Bible, and there's 66 books in the Bible. You get it? Now, why does also they say that Steve Jobs only ate fruits? Think about that, like an apple. Very ironic. Now, here's where it gets a little, like, interesting, more interesting, is that the spiral is absolutely everywhere. It's in hurricanes. It's on top of, let's say you have a newborn baby. If you look at how this starts with the hair, that's how it starts, with the spiral. You get it? That's why the 6 sounds like sex. I'm not going to type in that, but you get it. It looks like that because 6, that's why they say in the Bible, what day was man created? What day was man created? The 6th day. Like sex. The creation of God. This is where the humans and the animals was created, for 6, because we were animalistic and we always have lust. And we are created through sex. You get it? If this is the light and darkness that was divided, you get this right here? So just use this picture. If it was light and darkness divided, think about that. Midnight. That was the first hour. Saturn. You get it? That's why Saturn is the sixth planet. But you're thinking, but if it's the sixth planet, why is it the first planet to have the first hour? That's how it starts. That's basically how it starts, right? Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon, right? And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. The reason why they call it a week is because when you just type in week, basically it was basically known that humans would be weakened. They would feel weak after 5 to 7 days, usually. And that's why they actually call it the weekend. And that's why it ends on Friday. We like to think that, but it's not actually true because it's hidden knowledge. You see that? We think that the first day of the week starts on Monday. We were always told that it starts on Moon Day, but it's not. It starts on Saturn Day. Some people also believe that it starts on Sunday, but it's not. It actually starts on Saturday. That's why it's Saturnalia, etc. You just type in Saturnalia, etc. You could look into that. Sorry, I typed it wrong. Saturnalia. And then, the ancient, Roman, it was the god Saturn. And they say that that's the connection to do with, Christmas, etc. If you look at Saturn, kind of has the word Satan in it. I'm telling you guys, this is how it is. This is how they create pretty much everything. How you want to think of it like that. But words, just think of it like this. When they say in the Bible that they bit the forbidden fruit and they got the knowledge to speak. We're the only animals that speak. That have the ability to transfer information, to transfer knowledge, which is how you're watching this video, which is how, as you grew up, you knew how to speak this language, but you didn't know why, and you didn't know how you did it. Just like how you don't know how you got here, just like how a dream starts. You don't know how the dream started. You don't know how your life started. You don't know anything, in other words. And that's kind of how it goes. Unfortunately, you don't know where it's going to end, and you don't know where it's going to start. You get it? Anyways, guys, that's going to be it. I just want to make a quick, simple, basically video ranting. It's like 5 in the morning. I like to do random ranting videos. I did it for David, the singer that basically got, right now he's being charged or something. He might get charged or whatever. There's a reason why he has 4 in his name, and all of these equal 4. It's the letter 4. D is the 4th letter. He has 4 as well, and V is also 4 because V is the 22nd letter, I believe. It's 22nd, and 2 plus 2 exactly. See, so 2 plus 2 is 4, and D again is 4. So everything has to do with 4, and I explained this in my previous videos. You can go back and see what I'm talking about. Even all of his songs have to do with numbers and all that stuff. He knows. I think he's an industry plant, me personally. That's why he was the first person ever to have a Fortnite song. And ironically, the reason why he started to make music, it says right here, started his career making music to avoid copyright strikes on his Fortnite montage videos. And ironically, the very first song that Fortnite or whatever was from David. And that's why he wears a star, the black star. But ironically, it's a symbology of the Star of David. And then we'll get into that in another time. Anyways, guys, I'm telling you, this is how it is. There's a reason why in the Star of David as well. That's basically in Judaism, and that's why there's, in Israel, they talk about that a lot in the Bible as well. And, the original, they say the Jews and all that stuff, and the Jewish identity, etc. This all goes back. It's extremely. Let me show you. I'll just extend the video for 1 second. If you actually watch all the way through, If you see how Saturn cube, this is the Saturn cube, okay? They say that the cube is like the black cube. Now, in Judaism, they actually worship the cube, and this cube is actually all over the place. It's in Manhattan, it's in Denmark, Australia, Santa Ana. It's all over the place because it has. That's why even like look, if you look at Capital America, it has the Ring, DirecTV, the internet. If you look at your Chrome right here, it has a 666 right here, the yellow, the red, the green, and then the blue in the middle. It has basically 666 right there. It's all over the place. The reason why is because Saturn rules the planet. That's the whole point. You see, this goes. I can make pretty much unlimited videos about this because that's the whole point. This is unlimited knowledge, and the whole point is that to get closer to God, or whatever you want to call it, the closer to the source, is to keep trying to get to knowledge, which is the forbidden. That's why when we bit the forbidden fruit, we were trying to get closer to knowledge, which is why AI, artificial intelligence, supposedly they say that will be the death, or whatever you want to call it, the end of humans, because they will finally reach a point that they will get all the information to finally unlock all knowledge. I don't know if that's true. I don't really know. I'm not God. So I'm just saying, when you look into it, there is more into that. Also, this is random, but AI, as well as, there's a reason why this is crazy. There's a reason why, Elon Musk has to do with AI, and there's a battle between that and all that stuff. Okay, so anyways, that's where I'm gonna stop the video. This could go very long. I don't want to make it too long. That's the whole point of this, is that just something as simple as the week, as in your everyday life, something as small as how it started can literally show you the signs of the creation of how it continues to be life, continues to be creation. And that's why when they say that you are an image of God, it's because you can create. You have thoughts, and those thoughts become creations if you use your energy, right? If you use your energy to create. Basically, if you move, right? So if you got to move, you got to create motions, because sometimes you have emotions. So you emote, basically have emotions to create. That's how basically you're moved to do something out of fear, love, etc. You're moved to do something. You see my point there? So anyways, that's how I'm going to end it. I know it's random. That's how I love to do my videos. That's how I love to talk. I'm just a random person. I like to randomly ramble about this stuff. This is literally, if you just type in the cube, type in Judaism, that's how I'm going to end it. This is how they basically do on Saturn, and they worship the black cube. They know more than meets the eye. It's very, very deep. Like I said, there is a reason why Mac was created like that. If you look into it, basically, the cube is a closed cross. You see that? If you look at a cube and you open up the cube like a Rubik's Cube, and you open it up, it becomes a cross. Anyways, guys, this could go on forever. And yeah. Hope you guys have a great day. Much love and peace.